All right. How's it going, everyone? All right. Like 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 Deus Ex? Yeah, Deus Ex. Yeah. Let me arrange all this. There we go. You want to be heard on stream? You want to be heard on stream? You? Yes. Okay. Okay. There we go.
Shooting. How would you have? I guess it would have segments of first-person shooting if it was an RPG with first-person shooter elements.
Oh, that was way too loud. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right.
If the whole
But-
game is predominantly first-person shooting, then it's centered around that.
I don't know how you define like RPG. I guess.
I think
There's
it's
like
more-
action
it's the
RPG,
style of
turn-based
play,
RPG, and
Yeah, it's the style of play. Like a turn-based RPG is a specific style of RPG. I don't think you can. I don't think you could.
Do you guys consider
classify first-person shooter as a style of RPG?
Well, there are.
You guys consider the new
There
Final
are
Fantasy
first-person
RPG?
RPG.
oh yeah, think about like
There are
Dungeons and
first-person.
Dragons,
Yeah, those early
Eye of the
games.
Beholder or whatever it was called.
Yeah, those early Western ones were
Like
first-person.
Hexen? Would you consider Hexen an RPG?
No, Hexen
No,
is a
definitely
like a
not.
shooting game. D&D, like the old D&D console games, like you would have first person view and you could choose to move forward, left, right, or behind, and you could only see one of those directions, and things moved around in real time as well on the map.
Yeah, the dungeon
You would
crawlers.
fight in real time too, or not real time, but there's no turns. Like you
It's
would
a
go and then
first-person
have to
RPG.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it really comes down to every game. It's like on a case-by-case basis, you could see the game and say, well, is that considered an RPG or not?
Or Heroes of Might and Magic. I guess that's another Western RPG series that is
Yeah.
also first person. So I guess I see what you mean by if it's more focused on what element that's what it is, and then it has elements of other things. So how
Yeah.
something could be a shooter with RPG elements versus an RPG with shooter elements.
Yeah.
It's all about what's its primary what's the primary element of the game, you know? where like if you're a first person shooting game and the real which is the focal point, and there's just some elements that accentuate the game that are RPG elements, then the center's still around first person shooter. But those games, like the older games you're talking about, those, I mean, it's a first person game, but it's really classified as an RPG because it's really centered around the RPG elements.
Borderlands is probably still a shooter then.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider Borderlands an art like I mean, yeah, it's got RPG elements.
Yeah, a shooter with RPG elements. I mean,
Yeah. But there's you could probably make a case for some of those games and saying they are RPGs. This would be a good podcast.
Yeah.
Should make an RPG retro revival. What is an RPG?
Well, I definitely say you have to have
we could have a
NPC
gaming
interaction.
show,
You know,
we could
if
have
you're
a
not,
talk show segment somewhere.
That would be kind of cool. I'd be interested in that. Just want to pick a night and
If somebody can pick topics and shit and host it.
There's
Yeah.
one. You could do what's the best Final Fantasy game?
I'd like
Oh,
to stay away
God.
from shit that triggers the hell out of people. Like I think
Yeah.
discussing what an RPG is right on the fringe. Like what
no,
an
no
RPG is
fanboyism.
right on the fringe of pissing people off with our opinions. You know what I mean? So if we get into what is the best Final Fantasy, you might get some people that agree, but chances are you'll get a lot more people that disagree.
Yeah, there's a lot of varying
Well, like what
opinions
about a
on it.
topic of like how do the new Final Fantasy games compare to the older ones?
Or
Like 15.
that
The
could be
direction it's or you can say is the direction of Final Fantasy the way it's going?
well, we're retro RPG revival, right?
Yeah,
So
we don't need
you have a
to
clear
discuss
bias-
new
so you have
stuff.
a clear bias towards the older ones.
Yes.
We should probably stick to retro or talking about retro games and not try and bring
Promote.
in stuff outside of that, right? Because we're obviously going to be biased against it, but it's really not what people are here to watch us for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if anyone has topics that they could think of,
Yeah.
that
I'm
be
sure we could
centered
come up
around-
with a lot of things. I mean, instead of saying going for what is the best and trying to define that, you just bring up stuff that's good. So
You wanna do a
what are some of
podcast
the
here?
best
Here.
soundtracks in RPGs? Well, or and then try and talk about the ones everybody knows and the ones a lot of people might not know.
Yeah.
There we go.
So,
We got a
that's
got a
good question,
podcast.
Photon. What is considered retro? So if the PS5 comes out, will the PS3 be considered retro?
Yeah.
Well, isn't there already a standard for what is an antique or whatever?
I've
And isn't
always
that something that's 20 years old?
my loose definition has always been two consoles behind makes it retro.
Yeah.
So to me, the PS2 is considered retro. Who is breathing directly on their mic?
That would be Timo.
That's probably me. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, I
So,
ca-
Guys.
I think we should just leave it at the PS2 mark.
yeah.
Even if years go on, let it sit for a while.
Yeah, I think
Be a while
there's
before
a
we.
clear difference between PS2 and PS3 still. And there's
Yeah.
not as clear of a difference between PS3 and PS4. And they're still releasing games for PS3 and PS4, or, I guess Xbox isn't getting as much love, but Xbox 360 and the Xbone,
Yeah.
Xbone.
what
Yeah,
have you. Even Nintendo consoles, the ones that the previous generation, are still getting multi-releases with the current one.
Yeah. But I made an allowance for remakes in case people can't get their hands on the old ones. Does that sound good?
I mean, I think that's fine too, just because it's rooted in something. I mean, even with FF7 remake, you can still get FF7, but 7 is classic or retro or whatever. And
Well, what if I want to play World of Final Fantasy?
No.
because the elements on it are very like classic sprite, right?
But it wasn't originally a retro game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's not a remake of a retro game.
that's true.
it's more.
Yeah, someone was asking me about indie games.
Indie games are fine, I think, as long as they're retro.
They're old enough, yeah.
Yeah.
What is old enough? I mean, like, I guess if
I mean, right now I got a 10-year plus rule, but I probably should just stick it on to like 2005, 2000, something around then.
But then they have like, what were those kind of silly games that came out on Steam years ago?
Death Spank.
Something about Cthulhu Saves the World.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's like an 8-bitty game. It's like an 8-bit
spoof
game, pretty
RPG
much.
spoofs.
You know, content aside, I mean, visually it looks like it could have been on the Super Nintendo. Most of
Yeah,
it.
Where do we draw the line?
Call.
between indie and it's basically like really shitty homebrew.
I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. It's your guys' channel. That's just my opinion. Is
We could make a
even
spin-off
with
channel.
that stuff. Eh.
Well, I'm always open. Like, I mean, it's more of like, what does the group think and what do they want? You know, if the group is like completely anti-indie game, then you know.
Well, I mean, also if like you want to stream an indie game, you do have your own channel, which
It is,
we're
yeah.
all seem to be cross promoting our own individual channels whenever we stream on this. So if you want to see those people play those games, that's just a stance you could take. Is
yeah, you know, we're feeding you to other to your own personal channels too. So you know,
if you want to see them play things that aren't retro RPGs,
Oh, yeah.
or
And
as
thanks
we
for
define retro RPGs,
let me
go check
update the
them out on
bot
their
real
own
quick.
channel.
yeah, I was gonna say Sean Cass didn't get promoted.
Oh, it's fine.
I didn't have the bot up when I was gone. I'm gonna wait for Root
Nice.
Spot anyway.
I'm still waiting for someone to make Nomad Fixbot, like the Nomad Stream Bot, Nomad Chat Bot from Xenogears. It's like one of the first gear enemies you run into. It fixes you up. What a perfect like chat bot name. Has bot in it.
Sells you stuff, heals you.
There used to be one for like Super Metroid that would tell you like all the drop ratings and all like, you know, give you links to tutorials or things, and it was called Work Robot, which is perfect. It's one of the enemies in the game.
Oh, and it's an actual bot for Twitch?
It was, yeah. The person that's run it had to take all their bots down because it was like, you know, stressing their internet and computer too much.
What was that one bot where like the more you type in the chat, you level up? That'd be cool.
Inkbot can do that. That's what I'm using right now.
Quite a few of them that have that, yeah.
Yeah. It can be.
I think that is actually good. Some type of accrual of, even if it's not like you leveling up in chat, is you accrue points and then you could spend on, let's say, one of the streamers says you can pick between 4 of the next games that I do, and then the person with the most points can pick whatever it is. Really, you know what I mean?
You know what we could do too? Final Fantasy VI is co-op. You know, we could, if someone, you know, have set times.
It was 5. Yeah, I'll do that.
5 is co-op too?
Yep. At least.
Wow.
And you can net play just through, like, you get, what is it, Hamachi or whatever, which is, or any one of those programs that make a fake LAN.
MAME hub.
Yeah.
Like a direct line, yeah, and then just net play.
Yeah, Foofs can probably. I don't know how hard it'd be to do things like the PlayStation Connect or ZSNES is pretty easy.
Oh, yeah, God, no, not ZSNES. It sounds terrible.
What
As
about
far
SNES
as I know,
9X?
like, yeah,
Yeah.
either SNES 9X or ZSNES work the best. There's a specific build of ZSNES that I've never really found issue
Well,
with,
yeah.
at least playing like 5 and 6, Final Fantasy 5 and 6 co-op.
See, I would pay like if they were like if someone designed like the perfect emulator and like it had Wi-Fi connection or like internet connection on it, so you could connect with other people, have like a dedicated server. I would pay a monthly fee just for that.
Yeah,
And
it's,
have
the problem
access to all the games.
is the games aren't designed for net play. So right now the emulators send the entire memory instead of just specific parts of the memory.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot to stay in sync. All right.
Co-op?
Oh yeah, nine's co-op too. Yeah, I didn't mention. We were talking about the SNES ones.
Can you imagine going against Ozma together?
I'm not sure about any of like the additional bosses. At least in 5, like you'd pretty much have to have somebody like MMO style telling you exactly what to do, and then them, being like the lead of it.
Didn't you see what just happened to me?
I think it was pretty easy because I remember killing. There's like a section in 5 where you have to kill like a bunch of those Omega MK2s.
I did that.
Like,
I did that at level 1.
Shit out of those. At level 1?
Yeah, I did the extra dungeon at level 1.
Jesus.
I did the low level with a cheat file.
Oh, it's like you just never gain.
I never gained
points.
experience. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everyone was telling me how hard Ozma was, and I was like going online. They're like level 1 single player challenge. I canceled.
So, Dragon Warrior 3, the #1 game in Japan.
I've never gotten into the Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior games. I just don't like them.
Every time I tried, I just couldn't.
I don't like the art style.
First one I ever had, first game, was Dragon Warrior 1, so I played and beaten it. But after that, I don't know, man. I don't know why. I think it was because of 7.
Do you think?
7 second.
Oh, 7 is way different. Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of like, I don't know, made me maybe not give 2 or 3 as much of a chance as I gave them when I tried them because of 7.
Well, most people
isn't a fair shake for 2 or 3, but
it's just 7's a lot to get into. Should probably play that one last.
I played Dragon Quest 7 first.
Yeah.
See,
why is one called Dragon Quest and why is one called Dragon Warrior?
Because Dragon Warrior was originally licensed by TSR that runs D&D. But when Wizards of the Coast bought TSR, they gave up the license.
So they're basically the same thing. It's just
yeah. It was called Dragon Quest always in Japan.
As far as I know, Dragon Warrior 3 itself looks, or Dragon Quest 3, whichever one. There's one for Nintendo and one for Super Nintendo. It didn't get like re-released or
whatever? Yeah.
See, I would like to do we could do like a podcast on like the history of games, and then like
at least I got one.
Our opinions of each individual games.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'd like to sort of like, I was thinking about like a profile thing that we run between streams.
The history of the crystals of Final Fantasy, because most Final Fantasy games are centered around the crystals, and then the ones that deviated away from the crystals.
Okay, which way was it?
Well, that was really 6 that did the first major. The whole game didn't even really have crystals. They turned them into your source of magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Final Fantasy IV kind of like
dead creatures.
Made the crystals kind of an evil thing, or kind of a non-Earth type element.
Did 7 and 8 have crystals? I don't think so.
Materia?
No,
but is that considered crystal?
No, it's not the same.
No. I mean, it's
And we're
not
at
really
8?
the same way that espers aren't really like the crystals that were in 5
Yeah.
or previous ones.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of fucking ditched the crystals idea after 5.
Pretty much, yeah. I think they just decided that would possibly.
Well,
they-
there's one crystal in 9, and I think there's a crystal in 15.
I think I'm supposed to fall off
Well,
somewhere.
you also have the DS Final Fantasy games, the Crystal Chronicles.
Very true.
Yeah, those are
Crystals in 10,
totally
I
different
don't
games.
think
Which
there's
is
crystals in
4-player
10.
co-op, but I don't think you can do that on an emulator.
Also, like, how many times are you gonna rehash the story? Like, the main characters need to save the crystals, inevitably won't save the crystals, and thus have to face the guy that's going to destroy the world. Like, it's good and all, but really gonna push it that much with?
Well, they
Well,
twisted it in 4. The 4 gave it a nice little twist at the end.
I mean, so
That
did
eerie
5.
twist.
You know, 5 had a slightly different and more like, I don't know, like in the previous ones, it was like if something happened to the crystal, there was no like visual change or anything with the world. It was just
Well,
a plot element. Whereas
then
with 4 and 5 is where they really began to use the crystals to have a meaning
yeah,
outside of just the plot.
they mentioned it in the first one about the earth rotting and all that, but you don't really see it happening.
Right.
I'm sure they've got like lore books out for Final Fantasy, like Perfect. I really enjoyed Perfect Works when I was reading
Oh,
that
yeah.
for Xenogears and such, and man, it just made me up. It made me wish they would have added more to
getting
the
low here.
Xenosaga series, like the way you could tell they really try to condense the timeline and everything, and like I felt like they were trying to connect Xenosaga to Xenogears, especially at the end of Xenosaga 3. Which, by the way, is one of the best soundtracks in any gaming history.
Okay, is this the
Xenosaga
right
3.
spot?
By Xenosaga 3, you mean Xenogears, right?
Yeah.
I'm just biased as hell.
Xenogears is way better than the whole trilogy.
Gameplay-wise, I love the soundtrack for Xenosaga 3.
I would argue that guaranteed gameplay-wise, overall, Xenosaga beats Xenogears. Xenogears is barely a video game.
Well, it's an incomplete video game.
Yeah,
It's true, but so is like Xenosaga. In a sense, it was originally supposed to be 6 games. I mean, so was Xenogears as well, but I don't think they really put too much of all the different ones. Whereas like Xenosaga pretty much told everything that they had to tell. It was just condensed down into 3 games instead of 6. Which I think is what Texas was kind of saying.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think what makes an RPG series great is that they have like returning or recurring elements to it. Like, it's just cool to see like chocobos in each game, and it just gives you that nostalgia feeling, even though it's a new game.
It's very
Yeah.
true.
yeah.
Chocobos.
I think that's the whole point by making things return in the next title is to carry on that bit of nostalgia people have for the previous games, and that's
Yeah.
what makes them.
It's a big thing in Dragon Quest.
With like all this, there's always like the slime enemies in Dragon Quest, right? You can't have a Dragon Quest game without the slimes.
Right, and the dragons, of course.
Do they all have metal slimes specifically?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, metal slimes are in all of them.
Or
What's a
like the
good enemy?
iconic black mage look in Final Fantasy. I think that's what that's what people love to see.
Is Dragon Warrior supposed to be designed to compete against Final Fantasy? Was that the whole purpose of it?
No, but it
It
became that
predated
way.
Final Fantasy even.
It became that way.
Well, yeah, just because they're both RPGs, they sort of, in essence, have to compete against each other, right?
Yeah, it just seemed like they were trying to go against like the
Oh,
the same
nice.
concepts and trying to.
It was Enix, right, that made the Dragon Quest games.
Yes.
Well, now they're like merged, so doesn't really matter. They don't really compete, I guess. They're just different.
Yeah, what happened to competition?
Different
Now
types of
Sonic, now
RPGs.
Sonic is in Nintendo, and
Well,
Well, I guess with like
Sega's third
Dragon
party,
Quest,
so they can produce for anybody.
like Enix getting bought out by Square sort of saved the series because from what I understand, people generally have good opinions about 8 and 9, whereas their opinions are not so great about. I never hear anything about Dragon Quest 6 or 7, like ever.
Oh yeah, it saved the series over here. It's been always
Over
been
here, I'm
doing.
sure it was huge in Japan.
It's
'Cause
always been huge. Yeah,
yeah,
it's an event.
but I think in general, Americans are. It's harder to get your traditional medieval heroes to like win over an American.
So many series have
I
died
guess
as well, man. There's like what's left is like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, and the Tales games.
Fire Emblem, Tales. Yep. Believe it or not, I
Shin
think
Megami
Lufia
Tensei.
is still been getting games for years.
Wait, what? Lufia?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's at least 3 Lufia games I had no idea existed before I was on Twitch.
Well, have they come to the West then at least?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
mostly like handheld releases,
Okay,
which
interesting.
is why they flew under my radar. But
Yeah, well, I think the DS is like the best JRPG system at the moment.
yeah, you can always argue between PlayStation 1 and then. Or you mean you're saying going forward,
Yeah,
like PlayStation
currently,
is the place? Yeah, pretty much.
if
I
you want
mean,
to
you've
play
got your
JRPGs, you should
Nier,
get a DS.
you've got the existing series that are left. There's some new ones, you
Yeah,
know.
the Brave series is pretty good.
Yep, Brave, and then I just mentioned Nier, which
Is
is more of an
Is Pokemon an
action.
RPG?
yes,
Absolutely, yeah.
Barely. Well, it
100%.
is now. Yeah,
Oh, isn't Shin Megami Tensei or Persona?
yeah. That's what I was
Oh,
saying.
they're
That's
still
that's
still going.
Horrible though.
that's one of the
I never
longest
got into
ones.
those though.
It's Pokemon for adults,
I never got into Persona.
I like the regular Shin Megami Tensei series, not the spin-off.
which is much more so like a Pokemon style game before Pokemon was invented.
I guess it's mostly due to the setting being in like modern times.
It's the school simulation that people love.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
That
that's not
bullshit.
really my thing.
Not mine either.
I like my medieval shit and wizards and dragons.
I think that's a mostly unpopular opinion amongst even retro RPG fans. It's not like it's a large minority, but being into medieval themed things over more like futuristic style, I
sci-fi
guess.
kind of thing.
Oh god, yeah.
Sci-fi, yeah. I mean, like Final Fantasy VI, would you call that medieval? No, it's definitely
It's
sci-fi.
steampunk.
It's got mechas in it and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess.
steampunk.
You know what I
It
mean?
still feels more medieval to me than like.
I mean, I guess you're using swords and shit. You're not using guns, but
Yeah,
Steampunk is fine in my book.
oh, steampunk. All right, yeah.
yeah.
All right, I gotta head out for a little bit, but I will be back later if you guys are still on. So these are good.
Yeah, sure.
To have more of these more frequent.
It's good.
Yeah.
But I do like sci-fi as well. So like the Deus Ex games and Shadowrun. Those are pretty cool as well.
Well, I made a podcast
Shadowrun was amazing.
category.
Oh, what's up, Ozzy?
What's up, guys?
Hey,
Chilling. Talking that shit.
I was watching the stream, so I had to jump on my laptop so I could jump on the Discord.
nice.
Especially once I saw people talking about playing multiplayer Final Fantasies.
Heck yeah.
I've got 9 for PS3. I just got to pick up my capture card here like next week so I can stream it.
Is that
Nice.
Oh man, they're stupid when they should have put like a co-op, like a over PSN. If you get like FF9 through PSN, then you can play 2-player over the internet. That would have been dope.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think they need to make more Final Fantasies have more multiplayer elements. Like, I think 15 was like a really good one where they could have added a multiplayer element, like once you beat the game, as like a prerequisite. So your experience with the combat system and how things go, that you can do a multiplayer mode where your friends can play as like the backup party, or something along those lines, and you guys can do like combat together and walk around together. Like, there was a lot of potential, and I think they missed out for sure.
So, are there any RPGs you guys are looking forward to that are still gonna come out in the near future?
Near Automata.
I just paid off Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts 2.8, and I will be streaming that.
Nice.
I played Kingdom Hearts. I've got 2 Kingdom Hearts tattoos. A big fan of the series.
Okay.
Really excited for this one. Been waiting a long time for it.
That stupid iguana, though, and that idiot hunter in the Tarzan world.
Yeah, but the Final Fantasy,
Wait, what?
well, I don't know if this, or not, Kingdom Hearts 1, where you go to Tarzan and you have to fight Clayton and the chameleon, is a really annoying boss fight. But 2.8 is not supposed to have any worlds from any other Kingdom Hearts. Or that might be 3, but I know one of the next 2 is supposed to be completely new, and I'm really
I
hoping
still
that they
think
include
the PlayStation one was my golden area or golden era RPG wise.
I think
There's
PS2
just
for me, for sure.
too many good RPGs that came out on
Yeah.
PlayStation one.
PlayStation 1 had so many.
I think if it weren't for the
I
fact
think
that
they
Kingdom Hearts came out
owed a lot to
for
the Saturn though,
Yeah,
because I think a lot of the RPGs appeared on Saturn first,
Yeah, they
and because the Saturn failed, they came to PlayStation. I think Grandia was originally for the Saturn, and Lunar.
Mm-hmm.
I-
Lunar
one
was Sega
is
CD,
amazing.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever played Grandia 2 or 3?
I've played. No, actually, I've only
have-
just played one.
Yeah, I'll say I have Grandia 1 on PS3, but
Lunar is another one of
I've
those
never played
really prototype
Grandia 2 or
RPGs.
Grandia
It's
3.
like so cliche, but it's like executed really well.
Well, it plays the cliche to its strengths instead of its weakness,
Yeah.
I guess. But
Have you guys ever played
Plus,
Baten
Galleon was a
Kaitos?
really cool villain, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, Ozzy.
Baten Kaitos?
I've seen that.
I have not. I've only just heard of the guy doing the 100% speed run of
Yeah.
it, which was like 2.5 weeks long or something, and he slept through most
I
of
never
it.
beat it. I've only played it when I was like a kid, but I remember the combat system was a lot of fun. It was for the GameCube. It was GameCube exclusive, but I definitely want to pick that up sometime and beat it.
It sounds interesting
Nice.
to say the least. I just don't like that the requirements to get some of the items are simply to run up the game clock, the in-game
Well, I
timer.
mean, and it's the same for Final Fantasy IX is the only one that does it, but I've never been able to do that. I can't
That's
bring
the
myself
reverse.
to rush through a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's the reverse, where it has a time limit instead of,
Right.
Once you hit the 40-hour mark, you can then go get X. Or once you hit the 100-hour mark, you can then go get Y.
Yeah.
That's like you have to get there under 12 hours.
For some reason, I can't hear Ozzy.
Oh, do you
I hear him
perhaps...
fine.
Yeah, I hear
Try
him fine,
disconnecting,
too.
reconnecting.
Sometimes there's an issue. Especially if you're using the in-browser Discord as opposed to the application.
I'm using the in-browser.
Oh, now I can hear him.
There you go.
How very weird.
I know, actually, probably here at 2, I'm gonna jump on my stream. I haven't streamed in a couple days. I just started work, so I'm gonna jump on, try and get some time in.
Cool.
Don, you people in your fancy Discord chat.
And if you throw this frisbee on my lawn again, I'm keeping it. Whippersnappers.
Dude, the Discord situation is getting a bit out of control at the moment. Let me just, I need to just look down and see, like,
I'm in
I've got
the
one for, like, my not internet friends. I've got one for my anime friends. I've got one for Xenogears speedruns. I've got one for Link to the Past speedruns. I've got one for Super Metroid speedruns. One for Super Mario RPG speedruns. One for puzzle game speedruns. One for BS Zelda, the Super Nintendo one. One for Project Base. One for Mega Man X. One for another one for Super Metroid of just a specific group of people. One for Texas, another one for Texas, one for Phobia, one from an online forum, one from one of my speed friends, and a fighting game one. Like that's just so
Yeah,
much.
I just have,
we could just get our heads together and like just use one.
I'm in like, yeah, most of mine are friends. I'm just part of RPG site and Randomizer Central. Yeah, it's up to 25 now. It's getting ridiculous.
I think I use Curse for everything else, so this is the only one I have to worry about.
Foobs, how good are you at Super Metroid?
Not good at all.
Oh, okay. So you don't think you'd be able to like do a randomizer or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Figured of all the guys around
I
here,
still remember sort of
the one handy.
I can sort of remember the mechanics, but the map, no.
Oh, like remembering where everything is. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, even then, you like, if you
I mean, I know.
know the map, chances are, like,
Yeah.
your understanding of the mechanics might be below
Yeah.
what they expect.
Oh yeah. I can't do any of that Crystal Flash or like mock ball stuff.
Yeah, mock ball is like almost a necessity.
Yeah, the best I can do is wall jumping.
Which is better than some people, most people. If you can wall jump. I was watching a guy the other night that does speedruns of games, but was playing Super Metroid for the first time, and I felt so bad, like, because he didn't want any tips or anything, which is cool. It's a good game to do that with.
Yeah.
But it's so hard watching somebody try and wall jump that doesn't know to like press away from the wall and then jump first. And they're like, why isn't this
Yeah.
working? Just go up the fucking
I'm
thing
glad
at
just
once."
because I played Batman before.
Oh yeah, Batman is
If I
also
hadn't-
notorious. The Nintendo one, right?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that and a wall
Another
jump.
thing I didn't like about the Dragon Quest games is not being able to see your characters in combat.
Yeah. Well, they fixed that with 8.
Like yeah. I mean, I know you can see him, but you can't really see him.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know.
Like I would say of all like the other series, Lucy
Yeah.
is probably the closest to like Dragon Quest combat
And the enemies
in
design.
terms of the layout.
There's like some really weird enemies in Dragon Quest games.
You don't like the
Final Fantasy?
Akira Toriyama style?
Yeah, I guess that's yeah. I guess
You're
you
not-
guys don't like Akira Toriyama that much.
All right, let's get some magic and then we're gonna go on.
Even though Chrono Trigger was okay, I guess.
I guess the only reason why I have a hard time getting into, especially earlier Dragon Warriors, is how much you have to use the menu for something that a single button could do.
Yeah, the menuing is kind of.
And there's just not often as much visual representation. They could have made in like a single character icon for something. So when I see what it is, I know that it's a weapon or an item or
Yeah.
a consumable item or something like that.
Yeah, I like games
try
like
it out first.
games like the Tales series, where every item is categorized in the menu.
Yeah.
I really like that.
I should give East a try, or however you say it.
Oh yeah, Ease.
Those seem like pretty fun games. That's another ongoing one that is up to a high number now.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're up to.
I don't even think they go by numbers anymore. They just have titles, and people
Yeah.
have been counting along.
After 5, they just gave away with it.
Yeah, which is a smart move, in my opinion.
Separate the bump ones from the later ones.
Not even just, you can't. I think it's dumb that Final Fantasy is on 15. I think at some point when they started straying away from
Yeah,
whatever the original Final Fantasy was, they could have just made Final Fantasy colon whatever.
they should have made it a new series after 10, I really think. 12 should have been like an Avalis game or something, its own title.
What I do appreciate about the Final Fantasy series is that they do try different stuff each game. Like the battle system is usually very different. I mean, the last 5 games have been they don't look alike at all.
I think they've always kind of gone in a certain order, pretty much.
Yeah.
Still, like for at least the first 6, like 1 was like their standard, and then 2 was them trying to have a character for the first time, like the main character, and then 3 was the job system, and then they sort of had those things. So they pretty much had like the
Yeah.
character-driven, story-driven game, and then the job-based game. I think it kind of sucks that the jobs just got relegated only to
Jobs
3 and not 3 and 5 tactics. Like it just went the way of tactics.
3, 5, and X2. Yeah.
In a regular Final Fantasy until X2.
Yeah. 3,
The
5, and
job
X.
system is why I love tactics so much. It's just
Yeah.
so good.
It's a good way to
All right, Photon.
customize your character while still letting them have something that is theirs. Like tactics does that the best, where only certain people have specific classes for them, but they can all learn from a generic pool as well.
I really like the class system for 12. I'm really excited for that remake.
Oh yeah, the Zodiac job system is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never
actually
quite
played
understood it.
last year, and it's so much. It's just it just gives your characters more, makes them just more unique.
Yeah. I know once I finish 10, I'll be streaming 10.2 and then Kingdom Hearts 2.8, and then whenever 12 gets remade, that'll be the next one.
I think Final Fantasy 12, not 12, 10-2 should have just been called Final Fantasy Dance All Night.
Yeah, I think 10.2 is terrible, but I need something to stream, and I've never been able to finish it, so I'm just gonna make myself do it.
I think the job system in 10.2 is actually very good as well.
Yeah,
Surprising.
it is.
People tell me that the gameplay in the game is actually, makes it worth playing, even if you don't care for anime idols.
Yeah, I just don't care for it so much. And I don't like the side quests mostly.
I bet if they had used
The
cool characters, it would have been a good game.
Well, Riku is my favorite character in the entire Final Fantasy X world. Riku is funny as shit, and she's cool. I like her skill system, her setup, and everything, her background. So I mean, if she's my favorite Final Fantasy X character.
I love
I
Gilgamesh.
don't know if I could pick. If I had to go overall, it'd probably be. Oh man, that's hard. That's really hard.
Gilgamesh is my boy.
I just wish we had a better spin-off than Dissidia.
Yeah.
They.
Well, Kingdom Hearts kind of has them, but it's not really focused on them.
No,
But I
that's
think it's a solid series.
Yeah, I like that they included Final Fantasy in the Kingdom Hearts world. I think that's really cool.
yeah, that's just a cash grab.
Yeah.
They really don't do anything
Yeah,
for
pretty
you.
much, but they did. Kingdom Hearts, Kingdom Hearts 2, they're a much bigger part than in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah,
They could tell that people liked it and that they could run with it and do more with it, and then they had that entire, like, the Hollow Bastion showdown where you fought with Cloud and Tifa to drive back the Heartless Army, and I really liked that. It was good.
What am I doing here? I
But
meant to
against
go.
Sephiroth in both games multiple times, it kind of gives you a sneak into Advent Children if you haven't seen that. As from the perspective of a gamer, a lot of people haven't seen that because it wasn't really put out there as much unless you're into the community. So it shows you their alternate costumes. It shows you that they age. It gives you a backstory between Sephiroth and Cloud and Cloud and Tifa.
Oh, great.
I think. Nanaki. There we go. I don't know why it took me that long. Nanaki is my favorite Final Fantasy character of all time. He's my profile picture on Twitch. I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm still postulating over that question.
I don't know. It was a close one because Zidane. I really do love Zidane. I think he's my favorite main character.
You like
by
Zidane?
far. I do. I love Zidane.
Because
Final Fantasy IX is probably
he's a lady chaser?
It's probably my favorite one.
My favorite main character, hands down, is Terra. If you can count her as main character.
Terra, yeah, she's
She's pretty much the focal point of 6, even though things happen at the end of the game where you don't have access to her for a while.
Yeah.
But that happens in plenty of games.
She's
where
more
the
main character than most of the cast, I would say.
She's
Right.
a
I mean, some other characters can qualify as like co-main cast at best, a co-main character.
Yeah, isn't Sarah's a pretty big deal because you play her for like, isn't she like the first character you play in World of Ruin?
Yeah, Celis is who you start with. So she's another like runner-up for, and Locke is kind of.
I was gonna say I always thought Locke was the main character.
Yeah, I would go with Cloud.
Wow.
Please.
I don't know. Cloud is. I think Cloud and Lightning are the same person, so in my mind, Cloud is automatically disqualified.
Do you apologize a
Lightning.
lot?
I don't care too much for them characters that are all messed up in the head.
Oh yeah, Terra is definitely all messed up in the head though.
Yeah, Terra is conflicted, but yeah, Cloud is on
Cloud
another
fixes
level.
his shit after he gets, out of the live stream.
But Terra's just going through like the thing that girls go through, or even people, but I more so in a girl way about worrying about love that early and stuff like that, and what love is.
What is love? And I
So-
am half monster. Help me.
Yeah.
I think my favorite support character is Steiner.
Steiner's funny.
Yeah.
I love Steiner.
But I would go for somebody in that like vein. Galif is top tier, dude.
Yeah.
Galif and Tella are just so top tier.
Tella? Really?
Tella, yeah, dude, Tella's hilarious. Are you kidding me? Spoony Bard? What's more iconic Final Fantasy, like retro Final Fantasy, than Spoony Bard? As far as like a line goes, there's like that is the defining line of Final Fantasy IV. Nobody remembers the text from that, like specific conversations or quotes from that game, other than Spoony Bard.
Oh god, I miss.
I think Nanaki Yuffie is like Nanaki's my favorite character of all time, and Yuffie is I think she's hilarious. I love Yuffie.
Yuffie's
my
cool.
favorite from 7.
I like Sid better though, at least in 7.
Sid is funny. Yeah.
I never use Sid in any game. I hate him pretty much. He's the same character in every game. If you can play him, he's a dragoon. If you can't play him, he's an engineer. It's like, okay, we get it.
But you can play him as an engineer.
Yeah, cool. I can throw dynamite. Sweet.
Hello,
I'm over it.
You can peep too, and
He's
use
like the first-
wrenches.
You get introduced to him right away in 15, and of course, he's just some old dude who works on cars. It's like, I knew it. I knew it was coming.
There's got to be like a mechanic or something. But I guess Sid wasn't really the mechanic in 8. He was like a teacher guy.
Yeah, he was the headmaster. So I think that is the only one he wasn't like a mechanic.
Yeah.
Who was this? I mean,
Oh, he
But
worked on
Sid
this.
was a king in 9.
Yep.
Yeah, but he was an engineer who built those
Of
two
course.
airships.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he built the. And I mean, the whole kingdom itself was essentially a
He's always
mechanical wonder.
technically inclined to do something.
Yeah, I'll say he did he proposed with, I can't remember the guy's name now, but in 8 he helped assist the garden to be able to fly, so he was also mechanically inclined. He just didn't use it as much as the other Sids.
Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, even then, like, the Dragoon thing, I guess that's really just Sid Highwind. There's not really any other Dragoon
Yeah.
Sid. And he's also, the mechanic, he's the pilot guy.
I
Right.
just like his
I think-
character in that game.
Well, yeah, and he's
'Cause he doesn't give a
way
shit.
more foul mouth
funny.
than anything.
Oh yeah.
Like any
Yeah.
of the other Sids as well. He's definitely the one that was the most crass.
I really like Freya too. I like her backstory a lot.
You like the river dance?
Yeah, I do. I like the entire
The
race. I
river
wish they were in more games.
Are there any
Clayrins
other
and Vermacians.
like really cussing characters outside Barrett and Sid?
No, they
think so.
kind of dropped off that.
Not in Final
Oh.
Fantasy. No.
I mean, Zell kind of swears a bit every time he's pissed off.
Yeah, but he's not really like the angry dude. He's
No.
chicken
No.
ass.
I just wished once that what's her name? Is it Fujin or Raijin? Which one's the girl?
Raijin.
Just
Right.
yelled fuck once, like just fuck. You know what I mean? She only speaks in one word, and it's always screamed.
Yeah.
Just once. Just give me one. But it never happened.
Man, I like all of the fucking PlayStation 1 Final Fantasies.
I can't think of another foul-mouthed character from any other Final Fantasy except for those 3. Like no one else, like no one in 10 at all.
I'm a big
No
fan
one
of
in-
Strago as well from 6.
So, guys, is it Titus or Titus?
I've always said Titus only because they hadn't. I don't know.
I feel like only because it's Final Fantasy and they always pronounce things the way you wouldn't expect them to, I always go with Tidus because I think Final Fantasy 15 helped me prove that because the Gladiolus's little sister, her name is spelled Iris, but they pronounce it Iris. So like, well, that's all I need. Tidus right there.
Maybe that's a wink to Titus.
I think it's just a square. In my
Well,
mind, that's the way they would do it.
I
because
know it's Titus, but I definitely prefer Titus because it just sounds cooler.
I think Titus is just a normal. Like I know people named Titus. That's a real name. Whereas like no one's gonna name their kid Titus. You know,
spell it the same way as a pre-existing name with a different pronunciation.
right? Unless they're a huge Final Fantasy X fan. And if you are, why would you choose the shittiest character to name your kid after? You might as well name your kid Orin.
Yeah, and then when they go to
What are you
school, everyone's gonna the teacher's gonna read their name and say Titus, and then everyone's just gonna end up calling them
Right.
Titus anyway.
Or it'd be worse. You name your kid Orin, and the teacher's like, Aaron? I don't know what. Auron? What is? How do I? What do?
Are you like
It's
Sauron's
all right.
brother?
Yeah, Sauron. Auron.
Where's the S, mate? Where's the S? What happened?
Sauron.
Name your kid Kimari, cause why not? Kimari, you know, or Waka.
Yeah, that's.
Well, all the names are
Strange.
funny in Final Fantasy, pretty much. Yeah.
This entire playthrough, every time that Waka has like a cutscene, every time someone says Waka, I just throw Flock of Flame after it. Like I just can't help myself.
Okay, Setzer or Seetzer?
I've always said Setzer. Yeah.
Because it's like Seltzer, but without the L.
Yeah. Right.
But I've heard Seetzer before, from multiple people.
That just sounds weird.
Oh,
Seltzer.
nice.
That never even crossed my mind.
Oh,
My mind
God.
to like call him
Texas
Caesar.
is flying away.
Yeah.
I also thought because there's some actor, I forget his last name now, but he was relevant when I was fucking 16 or whatever. His name was Sean, but he spelled it Cyan, and
What?
or
I
maybe
can't.
he was an athlete.
Oh, Sean Penn.
Yeah, but he spells it normally.
Yeah, it's SEAN.
S-E-A, not S.
But
Sean Penn.
Cyan, like Cyan
Yeah,
from Final
the
Fantasy
color,
6,
yeah.
and so yeah, but is the
Cyan,
color spelled
C-Y-A-N.
differently? No,
Yeah. Color is C-Y-A-N.
Yep.
I thought the color was Cyanne. Maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
definitely not.
Maybe I'm thinking of cayenne
I'm on
pepper.
Google right now. Nope. Yeah, cayenne pepper. But yeah, cyan blue is C-Y-A-N.
Oh, okay. But yeah, dude was Sean, and I could
never seen that
kind
one.
of, I can't see the C being like an SH, but it was like Sean or whatever. Because YAN, I could see it being Yan with a C in the front.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's because I didn't, being 16 or whatever, I wasn't aware of the color cyan, I guess, cyan, or the different hues of blue. I just called them all blue and various amounts of light or dark.
Right.
And so I heard of this actor guy, and so I had gotten used to calling him like Sean for so long, and then I came on Twitch and was quickly corrected.
Yeah. I'm late for the time that I set for myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like make a sandwich or something because I'm starving. Be right back.
All right. Once my controllers charge up a bit more, I gotta jump on and stream a bit too.
Those jellyfish kind of look like the vanilla ice cream Pokemon.
Vanilla ice. That's what they call it.
King Squid.
Yeah.
I also remember Dragon Quest VII being pretty hard because I couldn't finish it. I got to like some kind of I got to Satan or the devil or whatever, and I couldn't beat him.
Ugh.
I just gave up.
I've never really played any Dragon Quest games.
Then I played a bit of 8, but the thing with Dragon Quest is that the story always seems kind of weak, or not. There's not really a main story. It's all like episodes or something.
With 8, yeah. Don't hear the main story till you're about halfway through.
I don't know. It just never grabbed me, the games.
What about Breath of Fire?
Oh,
I like Breath of Fire.
Breath
Never
of
really played the first 2 ones, but I loved 3 and 4.
You play Dragon Quarter?
I even finished Dragon Quarter, but I didn't like the mechanic
I
where
didn't.
you got punished for being a dragon.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither.
Dragon Quarter, I've never
And
been able to beat it because that system is, like you said, it's you get punished so hard for using your superpower.
yeah, and Dragon Quest or Breath of Fire is all about turning into a fucking dragon.
Right.
Yeah.
And it put you on a timer
the
as
other
well
thing was
because
like,
the counter went
Yep.
up even if you weren't a dragon. So And
It went up
I
pretty
really
slowly,
hate,
but it was bad. Yeah.
yeah, but still, I really hate games that put you on a timer.
Yeah. I didn't like that. To me, it seemed like to be successful in that game, you had to play up to the point where you like got your dragon powers like 30 times because you could do that like experience recycle, and you just had to do
Yeah,
that a bunch to make it to where you were strong enough where you didn't need to rely on your dragon powers or you couldn't beat the game. It was like, well, I don't want to play this same part for
yeah.
26 hours just so I can play the game that's only 10 hours long.
Also, I didn't really like the world design all that
Yeah,
much. The
No.
level design wasn't that
it
amazing.
didn't look nearly as
Yeah.
good as 3 or 4.
It's
I
kind of
really
drab.
I need I need to play I just beat Legend of Legaia again. I
Yeah.
need to get Legaia 2.
That's
But
a
yeah, I
Has
wouldn't
tough.
anyone
mind
ever
seeing
owned what?
a Breath of Fire 6. I would love that.
Yeah,
I heard they
definitely.
released a mobile Breath of Fire a couple years ago, but it's
Yep.
not really anything good, unfortunately.
Has anyone in here ever owned a hard disk copy of Legend of Legaia?
I have.
Did
I
it
did.
work?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I gave the game away after a month.
That game is worth $80 now, and I have one, but
Yeah.
it's famous for there's a certain point in the game where there's only like one CGI scene or one cut scene in the entire game, and it's when you're traveling through the mirror to go back in time and conquer them. And a lot of discs shipped with an error where the game would lock and crash every time you entered that scene, and there was no way around it. And I own one of those discs where you cannot beat the game.
Uh,
I
So like
played it
even
as well.
emulators, I've
that
downloaded
sucks.
multiple, and only one ROM file that I've ever downloaded wasn't one of the files that was corrupted that I could actually beat, and that's the one I just played through.
I also remember not really liking that game.
I didn't
It
either.
is probably my favorite RPG of all time.
I didn't give
And
it that
Legaia
long
2
though.
was also phenomenal.
No,
I
my
thought
favorite
I
is
really liked the combat system was amazing in my opinion. I thought it was unique, a lot of fun that you had to figure out all your combos. Every battle, the boss battles especially were like challenging. They were fun.
yeah.
The
I remember
story
it
I
being
thought was
pretty challenging.
really good. Yeah, it's not an easy game. Legaia 2 was different but still really good. I'm always a fan of unique combat systems in RPGs. That's Legend of Dragoon is another one of my all-time favorites, just because that combat system is
Oh yeah, I like
phenomenal.
Legend of
If they
Dragoon a
ever
lot.
remade that game, if they ever made like a Legend of Dragoon 2 or like a remake, I would spend any amount of money to get my hands on it. I would
Wow.
not care.
I definitely really enjoyed Legend of Dragoon. My all-time favorite though is
I
Suikoden 2. That's my favorite game of all
Yeah.
time.
You guys ever get into like Wild Arms and Thousand Arms?
I really
or
like
anything?
Wild Arms series.
Yeah, I didn't like Wild Arms either. Also
Well,
because I'm not really a fan of a Western setting,
Right.
cowboy setting.
Yeah, I didn't really like it either. My sister loved it. That's why I was asking, just because I used to watch her play it. But
I love Wild Arms.
I liked Wild Arms.
Wild
I didn't
Arms.
actually finish the first one. I got to the final dungeon though. But I finished
the
the
only one I've
second
ever
one.
played is 3, and I just couldn't really get into it.
I like the puzzle element of it.
I
Yeah.
played all three and didn't finish any of them.
Oh,
I like the running boots in the first one.
yeah. The skates.
They do a lot of fun stuff, and the skates too. But I like the running boots too.
So another thing, guys, why are final dungeons usually so fucking shit?
Because they have a history of being that way.
Yeah, but why? Like in so many RPGs, the final dungeon is just so bad. My favorite though is Final Fantasy VIII. I thought that final dungeon was actually really good.
Yeah, that
You
final
should-
fight
yeah.
against Mace, where she just like deletes your people from space time. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but also the way to get there and that your abilities are locked behind the bosses, and the bosses are
Yep.
pretty cool, and just the whole castle is pretty fun.
I didn't like how
Dungeon-
small it was, but otherwise, yeah, it was fun.
Have you guys heard the Final Fantasy VIII theory?
Well, that Squall was dead.
Squall is dead.
Yeah,
I've heard
that
a
he
bunch
dies
of
at the end of
those.
the first disc, and the entire
Yeah.
rest of the game is actually his Final Fantasy. I think that's legit, and I cannot look at the game any other way now. I feel like that is 100% what they were trying to do.
But
Because
you
he takes a
haven't.
fatal icicle through the chest.
But you haven't heard the theory that Squall is alive.
Well, I
Whoa.
would not believe that because he's definitely dead.
But
Whoa.
there's actually a like as reasonable of the argument. They do like the same thing. Like they take the same approach as the Squall is dead theory does to the game, and then they take that approach to the Squall is dead theory, and basically, go through and say, you can paint the picture pretty much any way because Final Fantasy VIII story is a mess.
Yeah.
I'll look it up, but it's like he goes from being a loser with no friends and, pretty much a useless pile of shit to like the most popular person on the planet who can travel through space-time and ships can fly, and he saves the world. It's like I'm pretty sure he's dead, and that's what he wishes that his life was. I just don't. I don't care. He's dead.
Or some like crazy like DMT, like brain
Googling it right
secretion DMT, like fascination before death. Like it's all just a crazy trip before dying.
Man, I liked 8 as well.
The
7,
first
8,
thing that comes
9,
up is
Tactics. Those were so fucking good.
Final Fantasy.
Oh
trying to
shoot! I went down too
find
far.
one that argues he's alive. They all these articles think that Squall is dead.
See, like for me, in Final Fantasy VI was when they started reaching the point of like trying to do too much with the story, where like, so I think 7 and 8 both they were trying to be
Overboard.
Make it overly complicated
Yeah.
and deep.
Yeah, when Final Fantasy never really needed to be all that.
I don't think 7 is that weird.
Oh, it
Or,
is.
I mean, there's just so many dumb things about the things that they experimented with that they didn't realize how it impacts the story as a whole. My golden example of this is how do Cloud and Zack take a truck from Nibelheim to Midgar? I think we even talked about this before, Timo.
I don't know. Can't you just put the truck on the ferry?
Who owns the
Yukon?
ferry?
Hmm?
Who owns that ferry?
Well, I don't think they took the truck all the way from Nibelheim.
Oh yeah, it's in the scene. It's the truck is in the cutscene where Zack is killed.
Yeah.
Outside the
I don't think it was.
Is it just nitpicking?
Yeah.
It can be, but so why do you even?
Is
have
it
to have, like,
is it really important that the truck really relevant?
Well, because they made it like important in putting in all these scenes of like Cloud's history, right? It was like that was what was like so awesome about.
Was that
7
his
compared
favorite
to the other
truck?
things before it. Well, no, but that's just one example of many things where it's just like they
I
didn't
don't know.
really think about
I can forgive
how
shit like
complicated
that.
they were making.
They probably didn't think about that, but the point is that Cloud escaped and Zack escaped. I think that's the relevant point that you need to take away from it.
Oh shoot! I'm trying to see when.
And the way they did it is kind of like not important. It's just the fact that they did escape.
But the whole like this is the thing is what everybody thinks 7 is so great story-wise is because they have all of these elements in, and when you start putting in more and more small details about how
I think it's
things
really
happen.
good. I think 7's story is really good. Especially Cloud. That Cloud, he starts off as an asshole, or you think he's an asshole, and then he realizes that he's been like manipulated all of the time, and he has some weird inferiority complex.
And he thinks he's another person.
And shit. And then finally he finds his true self, and he realized he killed Sephiroth. He actually did something really heroic while he had his inferiority complex from not being able to get into Soldier.
And he definitely lets you know multiple times that he's sorry for it.
Does he?
I definitely never got on the hype train of 7. Like, I like it, but it's not like everyone's like it's the greatest of all time. It's my favorite Final Fantasy. It was like it's not even in my top 5 if we're gonna be completely honest. Like I like it. I have some of my favorite characters are from 7, obviously 2 of them, but the story wasn't that good, like you said, and the like I didn't really like the materia system. I don't know, the game was good, but it wasn't as great as everyone is like. Oh my god, it deserves 7 sequels, 2
Seven
movies,
was
an entire
my
anime series. It's like no.
7 blew my mind.
7 was too easy.
Yeah, I say people just ride that 7 hype train. It's like it's the greatest Final Fantasy of all time, and anyone that tells me that, I tell them that their opinion is no longer valid to me.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the greatest. It will always have a special place in my heart because it was the first. I think 9 is the best just because the execution is so.
There's no.
It's the most polished Final Fantasy of them all. 9.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
say
what I like about it.
9 is definitely
Like, see, 9
is
is
probably my favorite.
9 is a great version of a complex story because they leave enough of it to the unknown. Enough of it is like a Deus Ex Machina where the God hand that comes in, like where the Garland comes out of nowhere, the final boss comes out of nowhere, but they leave enough blank that it's okay, it's accepted as the player, viewing the game to either fill in the blanks on their own head or just not care that there's that many blanks. Where 7 doesn't leave or doesn't try to leave all of these blanks and just ends up creating so many loose ends with small details that you end up, at least for me, that I end up caring about because there's so much small detail in it. Like that's the only difference, I guess, to me. My
No, I
my
guess
point before was going to be you like Lufia too, right? Deckar is a great character that can do things that he probably shouldn't be able to that you could nitpick about, but because he just is that and there's no explanation for it ever, he just can do those things. That's what makes him such an awesome badass. Like he can just fucking do anything and live through anything. I will say, 7 is the funnest. I haven't had the most fun out of any Final Fantasy playing it in 7. I like the materia system a lot, and that it's easy because you can take it to the next level of how much can you kick this ass's game, or you can restrict it to the point to make it difficult.
This is the same with Final Fantasy VIII, which you can like totally break early in the game.
Really
Well, in
great.
8, like you can,
Which
you,
I
you
love.
make
Actually.
it harder by leveling up.
I love that you can like become so broken early in the game just by like junctioning shit to strength or HP and then just abusing the limit break system.
Both
Oh my
teams.
god,
all you
it's
ever
so
do is
broken.
junction
Yeah,
like
twist
tornado
discard.
as soon as you get it to health, junction like Firaga to strength, and then just like, oh, I have 9,000 HP at level 12. Let me get down to 900 and just infinite limit
Yeah.
break and kill everything
And
with
then
one
just
shot.
limit break everything.
Like, okay.
Oh my god.
Or
I love that.
just get the Quistis and Zell cards and then card mod them into those items and then make those items into magic and then junction them to your, whatever you need to be and your
Right.
OP right at the start. Never mind
Well,
getting Ultima and
Zell was
Firaga.
probably the best.
What'd you say?
Zell, if you junction all your stuff to Zell is the best because of his limit. You can chain it so fast and get it early enough where you can just pump out insane amounts of damage.
Yeah,
It's
Irvine, Zell, and Squall had like fucking OP limit breaks.
Yep.
Yeah, you could do like I've seen so many like speed runs or like 100% runs with like just solo Zell. They just leave their entire party dead and just I've solo Selfie and solo Zell are the two that I see the most, and it's just so easy to do.
Yeah. Keistis isn't too bad either.
Keistis is good to start because she can get that laser eye right
Because
away.
she has all that blue magic and then Degenerator. Once you get that, it's over. It's just over.
Yeah, Degenerator is really good.
Yeah, that's what I like about 8, how fucking broken it is.
I don't like easy games.
You don't like easy games?
Not that easy. I mean,
I
like
like being able to make it really easy. I don't need to be. I don't want it to be easy like the first playthrough, but I like knowing after the first playthrough that you can do certain stuff to make the game like easy mode from the start.
I mean, there's always ways to make a game more challenging than it's
Final
intended to
Fantasy
be.
VII was easier without using materia than using it.
Yeah, but who does that?
I
I
pretty
don't
much
know.
only use steel. You steal and steel, death blow, and enemy skills.
Oh
The only
god,
materia that I
steel
actually
is
use.
terrible in 7. There isn't any good steals in that game.
Hey, you can mug, man. You can go for mug.
There are, but they're only early, and it's to get stuff that you can buy later on. But like
Yeah.
getting hard edge and Midgar is
It's
awesome.
never. There's only a couple items that are really worth the time.
I never really
But they have
used magic
morphing in that game too, which is more of like the steel in that.
Morph
Because you
is
can actually morph some decent stuff.
morph is broken. Yeah, they didn't need to include it.
I think the only magic I use regularly in 7 is like cure.
Yep, pretty much. The game was too easy. You didn't need any strategy.
Also,
Well,
kind of.
don't level up at all and try and fight Demon Wall and tell me you don't need any strategy.
Well, then you do. Yeah.
There are some bosses that would be, I guess, difficult. It's just that the overarch, like throughout most of the game, outside of like Demon Wall,
Demon Wall and
carry armor,
that double-headed dragon.
diamond weapon, you know.
That one dragon, I forget its name.
Oh, the red dragon too.
It has two
That's-
heads. No, the one that
back to back with.
has two
Oh.
heads. What's his name?
Oh, Schizo, right? Schizo.
That's
definitely another one.
Yeah, if you don't have the right equipment, it can mess you up.
Right, like you go into the fight and then you have like, elemental on your weapon with like fire. You're just hitting the fire. You know what I mean? You don't have like or any absorbs for their elemental attacks. It's pretty rough.
All right. Oh,
Oh, I guess Materia Keeper is pretty tough. A lot of people will go and get Vincent and then use Vincent against Materia Keeper, and it'll be a giant headache.
Materia Keeper was never that bad for me. He
Yeah,
is if you kill the wrong part first. Otherwise, he's not too bad.
I mean, you can have two elementals by that point, and then just absorb what lightning is it from Trine, and you're pretty much good to go.
Yeah.
Back row everyone, cast magic, GG.
Long range materia. Oh my god.
Well, I don't think you get that until Temple of the Ancients, right?
Really?
You get two of them. You get two of them. You get one in the cave near where it's where you first see the Turks. I forget the name of the damn cave.
Oh, you really get it that early?
Near Junin, yeah.
Mithril Cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you get it there. Yeah.
There's like 2 or 3 in the game.
A fucking double cut turning into 4 cut.
Late
Yeah,
game
that's
stuff.
where it was like
You don't even need
unnecessarily overpowered.
It's overpowered,
Like,
but you don't even need it by that point because you're.
Yeah.
I just made magic too strong in that game. Magic just annihilates every enemy.
But there's definitely like interesting things you can do with the 7 engine, especially like I don't know if you guys have seen the PC speed run of it. That's like 3 hours long.
I know about the Eufys.
They warp all over the place, but at some point they had to fight Materia Keeper at like Midgar levels, and the strategy is to cast poison and poison it, and then
Lucky
poison
7
needs to do a specific amount of damage, right, when you cast it, and then the poison damage brings Materia Keeper down to 7,777 health.
Yeah,
it kills itself.
The Lucky 7 death, yeah.
That's amazing.
There's that damn thing. Behind here.
And you can do that to Emerald Weapon as well if you know, like my favorite setup for that would be like Tifa and Vincent because they have the weapons that have 255 hit percentage, so they can't miss.
I think I still have my original save of like the first time I beat Emerald and Ruby weapon and shit
Yeah,
on my memory card.
I have a bunch of my original saves. I actually picked up something where I could store them on the computer.
Oh, that's awesome. I have like nothing in terms of saves from my childhood. All I've got going is the Xenogears God file that has been on a very long break. Too long of a break. But Xenogears was easy, and it's pretty darn good.
For people that could stomach the story.
You don't like the story?
No, I personally love the story, but I know a lot of people don't go for it.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't too big on the whole. It's just got a lot of anime tropes in it.
Yeah,
It's pretty much Neon Genesis Evangelion in video game form.
but better. I couldn't stand NGE at the end.
I actually haven't seen it. I've just been told that there's like an overwhelming amount of similarities.
I've never seen that either.
Whole lot of psychobabble mixed with mech fights and a whiny kid.
That sounds exactly like Xenogears.
Yes.
Psychobabble, a lot of mecha fights, and whiny kid. Yep, you pretty
Yeah.
much got it. Multiple whiny kids, even.
Really, yeah, yeah.
Murderer. Faye, I hate you.
Isn't it like basically every Gundam as well?
I don't.
I guess, like, from what I've been told, Neon Genesis Evangelion doesn't really focus on the mechs so much in the sense of, like,
No.
talking about the mechanics behind it, and neither does Xenogears really. I mean, you can customize your gears and change the parts and stuff, but that seems more like equipment, not so much like learning how, like, I don't know, they talk about a lot of the technical aspects of it in Gundam, I think.
Gundam is more military oriented.
Yeah, military oriented.
Gundam.
The only military oriented anime I would like probably is Kentai Collection.
All right.
It's actual trash. The concept for Kentai Collection is that anime girls are actually historical naval vessels. So they look like anime girls, they behave like anime girls, but they are actually naval vessels.
Oh shoot! Did I went around the wrong? I went around the wrong side.
It's gotta be the stupidest concept I've ever heard in my life.
Let's go up.
If you could get like a sequel to an RPG, what sequel would you like to see?
Oh wow!
Sequel specifically?
To one
To
that,
something,
just
to a certain RPG.
that deserves one.
Maybe with like another Valkyrie profile game, or a Grandia game.
Super Mario RPG. Because you can't really call Paper Mario a sequel to it, or any of the other ones. I want, like, Super Mario RPG 2.
It's Chrono Trigger. People have been dying for.
But what about Chrono Cross? Isn't that a sequel?
I thought we were talking about sequels.
I actually love Chrono Cross. I played that before Trigger, and therefore
It's-
I like it more than Trigger.
It's good, but it's its own game, yeah.
Every person that I've watched play Chrono Trigger, like for the first time, that at least I knew before, like I knew this person before watching them play it. They've generally had the consensus that they hate the fact that there's so many forced battles, and there really is.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of parts in the game where it's just like enemies that you can't avoid or walk around or whatever. That just get thrown at you, like, and not even like random encounter style. Like you have to go through a gauntlet of fights.
That's what they don't like because they're not used to random encounters where you can't avoid. You can avoid some fights, but you can't avoid them all.
Which is not even. I don't know. Like I guess. Think of like, for an easy example, Final Fantasy VII in the elevator. Like if you take the elevator in the Shinra headquarters
Yeah.
at the start of the game instead of the stairs, it's just like you're doing a fight and then waiting a little bit and then a fight and then a fight and then okay, now I can go. Like there's a kind of a lot of that in Chrono Trigger, but Chrono Trigger has some of the coolest. It's got one of the coolest elements ever done well, traveling through time at will. Has a lot of things going for it. I think that some people don't really appreciate because they didn't play it back in the day.
Let's get one more.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't too impressed by Trigger, but that's only probably because I like only played it like 3 years ago for the first time. It was a cool RPG. It just didn't blow my mind as much as people would have me believe it would have.
Have you played Earthbound?
No.
Oh wow, that would be another one you'd have to see. Because generally people that played it back in the day, it's like
I don't know.
a 100% like game, and nowadays I see not everyone into it as much.
I don't like the setting of Earthbound, and it creeps me out for some reason.
Yeah, I'm kind of not into it. I look how the third one looks.
Oh, Mother 3?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I also find now that people who have played Mother 3 often say that it's better than Earthbound. I agree, I liked it more too. But Earthbound just had some specific ways they used music and scenery and how the story progressed that holds a special place in my heart.
I don't like the setting, weird monsters, the design. I don't know. And it's fucking creepy. The game is fucking creepy.
It is. It's not as creepy as some games.
It's just more so psychedelic to me than
It's
creepy.
It's not Shin Megami Tensei weird, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just on some level it just disturbs me.
I like its system of rolling hit points as well. I like the fact that you have, if you know, if you have 100 health and something does 150 to you, your 100 health is going to tick down, and you have time to, like, if your next person can use an item or heal, you can save the person from dying. If you're good. Stuff like that is pretty neat. Similar to like Secret of Mana, being able to cast spells or use items to avoid damage if you're smart.
Oh man, Secret of Mana. I remember that game, and I couldn't get past the fucking fire Geiges.
Yeah, he's
And then after a couple of years of not playing it, I remember being in school, and then for some reason, I suddenly realized that I had just gotten ice magic, and that I should just fucking use that on the fucking fire giant, and then I beat him. But it took me years to fucking realize that for some reason. It was so fucking stupid.
you weren't in the
But yeah,
RPG
it's really easy if you just
mindset.
spam like the ice magic on him, and you use a fairy walnut, and then you can just like beat him pretty easily.
You don't even need the walnut. That was expensive at that point in the game.
Yeah, but I remember doing it like that for just to be.
Oh, you
Safe.
definitely. I definitely would farm up money for walnuts in the early game. It made lot easier. That's a horribly broken pile of crap too. It works great if you don't go looking for stuff, but if you go looking for stuff, you'll find it pretty easy. Especially if you use a second controller.
Yeah, I guess.
You could you didn't even need a second controller. Like you would just set one of your other like AI characters to like charge level 3 or something, and then let them charge up to the level 3, and then switch it back down to level 2, and they'll instantly like use their attack, and then like everything goes crazy from there. Like it basically like underflow their attack level, because since they're set to level 2 at this point, but they have a level 3 charge, it like underflows the attack level, and like they'll do crazy damage to everything they hit. And then you can do it like with two players as well, pretty much.
Yeah,
Two controllers.
I don't want. I try not to glitch.
Oh yeah, doing that stuff. But like that's like something that happens on accident. Like if you play two players, like
Wow.
at least if it ever happens to you, like it can definitely happen on accident where you're like, what just happened? I hit him once and he's dead. What is going on here?
Well, at least it's something that's in your favor, not the other way around.
Yeah. But I remember I was watching a buddy play for the first time, and on the same frame that one of his uh, like AI characters killed something, it dropped a chest, he opened up a different chest at like the same time, and like the in text came up, and then he didn't even realize he was just pressing A, like assuming it was an item. And so he accepted to sleep in the inn, and then he just walked like through the wall into like the blackness of the inside of the wall, slept there, and then stood up and was still inside the wall and was just stuck there because it was all solid. And was like, what is going on? And they ended up figuring out how to call up the credits in like 8 minutes, like the tool assisted guys from watching that footage. And
Yeah.
like figuring out how to do something. But it was really crazy. Like first time playing the game, and he figures out like the most broken thing ever, and like starts rewriting memory by accident.
Yeah, this game has a terrible bug with that too.
Oh really? Is it something you can like stumble into, or is it something you pretty much have to try and do?
It's something you would have to try and do, yeah.
So that's not so bad. It's like crazy that all you needed to do was have an enemy drop a chest and open up a chest at the same time in Secret of Mana, and everything goes to crap.
For this
I think
game,
Secret
it's
of Mana may have been the first RPG I ever played.
I want to say it was the first one I beat without like looking up any type of. No, I guess Dragon Warrior was, but it was definitely the second one. Then the first like one of the first games I beat without going on the dial up. That's got some rockin' tunes too. One of the best bass sounds in Super Nintendo.
What, Secret of Mana?
Sound trips, yeah.
I just remember the Thanatos fight music.
Oh, that one's
the second
like the weirdest. That's creepy right there, that song.
Yeah, that's pretty freaky.
I guess all like the cathedral places where you could usually find Thanatos had like that
The gong.
like chime based gongs and stuff, yeah.
My favorite is from Secret of Mana. My favorite track is the Golden City one, the Empire Golden City song.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite one.
Trying to think. I think. Mm, like Spring in the Upperlands. It's used
Or
in multiple places. Or
or the Snow
Kikara is
Island,
pretty good too. Yeah,
the
Ice
country.
Country's alright.
But yeah, Golden City is my favorite one.
I guess the Mana Fortress too is pretty awesome.
Yeah, music is pretty important too for an RPG, in my opinion, or at least to make it more memorable. Breath of Fire 3 had a lot of good tracks.
Yeah. Yep. That's a game I'd like to replay at least sometime. Should not, because I ended up just getting like I
It's really
didn't get a lot of the dragon forms, some of which are very useful. I've been told.
And the dragon designs are very cool as well in that game. And it's still a really pretty game. I just love sprite-based games.
It's got a good art style in that, but wasn't that Akira? No, it's not Akira Toriyama as well, is
No,
it?
no, definitely not.
Oh yeah, no. Akira Toriyama's all like straight lines, and Breath of Fire is very rounded.
Cool characters. It's just a really good game. 4 is nice too, but I think I still prefer 3. 4 definitely has some really good music as well.
4, I don't know what happened with that game, but it like I tried playing it twice, like in the same like kind of attempt, and I got so far, and I was like, I was gonna stream for a while. It was like an hour, and I was like, man, I'm bored. I don't know. And I tried again, and like I think I only got to the first area that has like uh, the dark mist or whatever it was that we needed the robot
Oh
person
yeah.
to traverse in, and again it was just like, man, I'm did not I this is I'm bored. I wish
I
I
guess
wasn't bored, but I'm
I
bored.
guess I can see that a little bit. That game had gorgeous, even better looking sprites than the third one.
It did have really nice sprite work. I will give it that.
But yeah, I love sprite based games or RPGs especially.
Statue moving puzzles, my favorite.
Yeah, good old block pushing. Why can't I think of this today? I usually get it like right away.
Literally Goof Troop.
Goof Troop.
Goof Troop was amazing,
Goof Troop's one of the best multiplayer games ever.
definitely.
There's just so much time where like only one person can kind of do the thing, and so you both try and go for it, and then whoever wins does the puzzle, and then the other one just spends their entire time shooting shooting their co-op partner as many times as they can. Oh man, that's some good fun.
Yeah, Goof Troop is great.
Well, that has to go down one. And this has.
Anyway, I think I'm gonna fuck off for now.
All
Was
right.
fun talking with you guys. Good luck playing the Dragon Warriors. And I'll see you guys around.
It was nice talking to you, man.
Later.
And then there were two. So in there.
There we go.
At least there's no like random encounters while you're pushing
Oh
stuff
yeah,
around.
that
Yeah.
really sucks. Games.
Makes it
Puzzles
really tedious.
and random encounters, yeah. Oh really? Yeah.
I do like the podcast idea though, it would be fun.
What do we got? Blazemore?
Blazemore.
Yeah. That's how they translated it, you know?
Well, I guess they had Hurt and Hurt more.
Yeah. I really didn't think much of the names. Well, they renamed them all later. When 8 came out.
Oh, did they? They actually
Yeah.
decided to. Was it still like a tier, like an obvious tier system, or do they just have entirely separate names?
Yeah, oh, it was still a tier system, yeah. I want healing spells, that's what I'm looking for.
Wasn't it like more and most?
Most, yeah.
Weren't that the tiers in the original?
Yeah.
That's so iconic, though. Why change it after it becomes like a standard for series? I guess. I don't
You know, they
know.
kept
Maybe.
heal more and heal most. Or no, heal all. That's what it's
Oh,
called.
okay, yeah. You start getting a party as well, so.
Yeah.
But that's cool that they at least kept one of the mores. But thanks for the host. Muta Warrior.
Vase of Drought. And so what I'm doing is I'm drying up the ocean, and this island appears.
Whoa, look at this Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy for the Nintendo.
Now I have the final key. Hey, Muta Warrior. Thanks for the host. Okay. Let's get money, and then let's get some equipment that we desperately need.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of money. Well, let's make sure we don't die. Or I could go to the other place. No, but I'd probably get beat going there. We'll get some. Traveling to Tendaki to get some equipment. I think it's the one from the other side, isn't it? Yeah, it's down a ways more. Well, that thing's dead. Yeah, my battery still works. Oh, nice. Okay. Did I pass it already? I think you're supposed to go down to get to it. Ooh. You notice he was at her? Here's where it is. Okay. All right. So this town was destroyed. I should have talked to them when it was night. Gotta wait for night. Don't have time for these things. Oh good, we are too far. No thank you. There we go. Now there's people. Arcade on the earth. I can go there quite a bit later. And that's where the Archfiend is. This village destroyed by an Archfiend, come on. But it was. You guys are all ghosts. Let's get on the zombie slasher. I can get something better. F-Force. Alright, that should be enough to get me to the other town. Oh yeah, I gotta ditch that stuff. Take this orb. Yes, I got one of the orbs I need.
Nice.
Don't really know why you need them yet. Do I sound familiar, LMF? I didn't update the channel title. Did I? Yeah, I did. Yep, that's me. Alright. Yeah, let's go back to Alhan. Oh, the orb. Alright. And what would the best RPG be? Oh yeah, I think I can go right there, can I? Oh, which way is it? There. Oh, there's some stuff I never grabbed. Mario RPG. Well, Sean Cass was playing Super Mario RPG before. Yeah.
Gino's Return from Star Road Special Gold Edition, huh?
I don't know about these special editions. Yeah, it's the fighting suit, and that's about it. Alright, was there a shortcut here? I forget if I can go all the way or not.
Go all the way.
To the town I'm trying to get to. There's like these travel doors, they call them, to warp you around the world. Okay, that's not the one I want to take. That will just take me to the tower. There is a shortcut though. This one? Oh, is that outside there where she is? It might be. No, I can't get there from that side. Oop. Can I go down here? Oh, that's just to talk to that person. Oh, I remember where it is. It's not in the castle. Easternmost part, but there's actually a second one. Here we are. First dungeon. Up or down? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Or is this somewhere else? Looks like somewhere else. Yes, somewhere else. Gotta go up. Guess this wasn't the right one.
Have you ever heard of the website theyeti.com?
No.
They do like game related clothing. All their designs on their clothes are game related. One of them is like the cover of Dungeons and Dragons, but it's planets and pirates, and it's got like, instead of the fighter with the sword fighting the dragon, it's fucking Ridley and Samus in like the same poses. It's pretty sweet.
Huh.
Oh, they got one here that's like the judicial, like what is it, the scale or whatever and everything, but on one half of the scale is like Phoenix Wright and the other half is whatever the other guy's name is. You should probably play Phoenix Wright games, they seem interesting. Oh, they have like the Final Fantasy VII, like all of the materia, but put out in what looks like the periodic table. That was always a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Remember which train I gotta get to. Yeah, this is it. Alright. This is near Portugal. Know where this is? Yeah, okay. Have to use it twice again. Okay, yeah, Grimoire is our temporary bot for now. Alright, now we're on the right track. I'm fine with gumbo. Fine with most food.
What is gumbo?
It's a sort of a stew.
Oh,
Cajun stew, yeah.
I like stew.
Usually has sausage, okra, and rice.
Sausage, okra, and rice?
Yeah,
How
and a
does
bunch of
okra taste?
vegetables. Yeah, it's
Oh, I'm sorry, you said okra. I thought you were
okra,
saying
yeah. Yeah.
Oprah. Sausage, okra, and rice.
Oh, you got one grilled chicken and sausage? Yeah. It's somewhere between like a hearty soup and a stew.
I'm not a big fan of light soups. I like
Yeah.
we have a big thing here is Portuguese minestrone soup, which is ridiculously good. And is very filling too.
Oh damn, heal slimes healing the metal slimes. It's not good. Oh damn. It never ran.
Actually, you know what made its debut today? Is Super Mario RPG Randomizer.
Oh yeah.
I have no idea what that entails. It's like a big race of it, but I didn't want to play on emulator or anything like that. If I had a Wii, I would play it on that, but I don't. I cannot do those super jumps
I know where I am.
on the emulator. Block or do anything. So used to playing it on the original. Avenger Jackal, what happened to them?
Yeah, I don't know. Took the wrong way. Alright. Now I know where I am. Actually, you burn a fire more on these healer slimes.
How many steps does repel work for? Or does it not work the way I'm thinking?
It works on enemies less than your level.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I have a person that's level 13, so
I see.
I guess the enemies are higher here. If I can get one of these things, come on.
Oh man, metal slime.
Yeah, but they're with healer slimes. So if I don't critical them, kill them in one. And it ran. Okay. Can't believe blade or fire bane didn't work on them. What? You're not gonna let me run? You're gonna block me so you can just run. You know. Alright, let's take the right exit this time. Is it the top? Oh, that's just the dude that tells you. Yeah. Some truffer had belonged. Or that belonged to him. Her soul might be released. through the next portal. And this has got to be the right one. Alright, we got to be full here. Everybody's at the funeral.
You're late to the funeral?
Yep.
Dang, dude. Disrespect.
He was put to death for bad-mouthing the king.
Well, if he was such a good guy, what is he doing bad-mouthing kings?
You find out that the king has been replaced by a troll. It looks like him. I think this is just a gambling arena, right? Yeah.
I like how the sprites start flashing when there's too many of them on screen.
Yeah. Little NES flicker. Alright, weapons finally. Just one weapon, really. Oh, I need to sell that fighting suit, too. Who ended up with that?
How does it feel to have 420 gold? Correct response is, oh, dude, awesome. Bruh. So do you not need, like, isn't Wing of Wyvern like a teleporting thing as well?
Yep. I have a spell that does the same thing when I finally have enough magic. I don't have to keep too many of them. I just keep one around.
Yeah, in case the magic guy dies or something.
Yeah. One extra there. Probably can ditch these antidote herbs.
So I'm guessing HR is like hero, WZ is wizard, SG is sage, FR is fireman?
Fighter. As in martial art.
Okay.
Martial
Alright.
artist. Yeah. Fireman.
That'd be like funny, like you got your hero, your wizard, your sage, and then like there's a fireman. What is he gonna do?
He takes his water hose and shoots all the enemies with water. Okay.
Really effective in like fire caverns. Other than that, pretty useless guy to have around. All he does is eat all the food. He brags about that one time that he helped out in a fire cavern, but since then,
Bland gumbo? That sounds terrible. Usually it's really spicy.
any kind of stuff like that, I can't really do like right out of the can. It has to be something somebody made, or I made myself.
Yeah. I'm
Like, I
all
like
about
beef stew, but if you get it out of like a can, it's usually awful.
He just says whatever food is food. Can't waste.
Valid point. Dude, there's a fire in this house. Get the fireman. Wait a minute.
Here we go.
Orb? What's that? Well, it's something you collect in Super Mario World to end the level.
Outlander. Not foreigner. Outlander.
I despise Outlanders.
Yeah. Slay the many-headed serpent, the Orochi. Miko will certainly rejoice. Miko is vexed by the Orochi. And so apparently she's telling all her people to sacrifice young girls to the serpent.
Typical.
In recent times, Miko has acquired a strange supernatural power. Okay. Go through this dungeon for a bit. Forget if there's any worthwhile treasures. I don't think so. Oh, no slimes though.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Is there still that like powder stuff in this one, or is that Super Nintendo only? It's like moth powder or something?
Oh yeah. Poison moth powder, yeah. I don't think I have any of it. I just had spider webs.
But don't those like they'll keep enemies in battle, specifically like metal slimes?
Yeah.
Or at least they increase the rate of them not leaving.
Oh, I got one. See if I can get one more. Nope. Big dead end. These things hurt. Well, normally they weren't hurting. Guess I grinded a bit too much earlier. Oh, here we go again. Can't knock chicken noodle soup. Come on, one more hit on him. Thank you. Oh, we got two. Nice. Is that three? Oh, nice.
$4,140 experience. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Oh, my hero's on a magic dam. I've been looking at that. I wanted to save enough for the exit spell.
Yeah, Campbell's chicken noodle soup isn't all that bad. A lot of salt though.
Yeah. So that's one way to preserve food. You know, load it with salt. Was already in here.
Funny choice of words. It's like so close, so not even close to the only way to preserve food. Is so many other ways, but
Yeah.
we love salt. It's the MSG that also preserves food.
Ed, Sean is a mod. Oh, I didn't do that. Thanks for letting me know. Trying to keep up. That's weird. I made him an editor, but it didn't mod him.
Yeah, it's weird that it even allows. I remember back in the day, like if you were gonna give somebody editor, they had to have moderator in your chat.
I thought it automatically made him a mod when you made him an editor. Guess it doesn't. Maybe it did at one point.
MSG actually is pretty freaking good.
Yeah, it
You
tastes
don't
fine.
want you don't want the Chinese restaurant MSG. That's like the bottom. Like you can buy like monosodium glutamate from a store. You can buy pay 50 cents for like the spice rack version, or you can pay like $4, and the $4 one is just better in many ways, in taste and health.
Yeah.
It's not like awful like Whole Foods tried to make it sound 6 years ago, but the really cheap MSG is certainly not good for you.
Man, I haven't bought Chinese food in forever.
I'm trying to think of some of the really golden like Chinese restaurant names from around my area.
I would just make my own Chinese if I want it.
Like, is it? I think it might be Super Buffet 2000. Like, I'm not even joking.
Yeah. I can't remember the name we have. Something, it's golden something.
It's literally called that, Super Buffet 2000.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yes, heroes level. Okay, 9 strength, wow. Fighter is just strong. Great. And low on magic. And I don't have too much in healing items.
Okay, we also have Great Taste. That's the name of the restaurant.
Great taste. Can I go to the expensive shrine? No, I'll just walk back to the cheap one. Have a little less magic.
There we have Young China. I just think that's a funny name. It sounds like a rapper.
We got this terrible chain called China One.
China One, there you go.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of the places around me. I really don't eat Chinese food anymore.
I'll tell you though, actual Chinese food is a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have one actually cooked by a family or something, or a good restaurant. But
Yeah, like an actual authentic Chinese
Authentic.
restaurant. And
Yeah.
like American Chinese. Yeah, but like even sweet and sour chicken here, if you had actual sweet and sour chicken in China, you'd be like, oh my god, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah,
Because they like make it crispy.
yeah, that's the
But they
whole
don't
thing.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, over here they just throw it in the deep fryer.
Yeah, this is like pan fried.
Pan,
Like a
yeah.
wok, you know. Oh my god, peanut butter noodles. Oh, so good. Sounds really bad, but it's actually really good. It's not like an overwhelming peanut flavor, I guess. But you could just buy it for like 30 cents. Like, it was so cheap. Compared to the other like things you would get, like that was
Chinese
just,
restaurant,
like,
not a major.
something you could just get, and like they always make it at the restaurant, so you wouldn't even have to wait for it. You
Yeah,
just
there's
walk up to,
smaller
like, the takeout
chains.
window.
There's smaller chains around me. There's no good ones around Detroit.
Oh,
Until I
just
go out to the,
ramen.
I have to go out on the burbs.
New England in general just doesn't have very much in terms of different types of restaurants. There's no pho, or what is it? Not pho, what the fuck, like pho? Or whatever. There's no actual Chinese. We have sushi, but it's nothing special.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like one small Japanese place in here. Never gets any business.
There's like one Indian restaurant in Providence. There's like one like halal restaurant in Providence. Man, I wish I could just get falafel anytime.
Oh man, there's plenty of that around here.
We don't even have it. Like I'd have to go to the busiest part of Providence, which I don't live in Providence, just to get it. It's not even like a sit-down restaurant either. It's literally just takeout.
A lot of Greek food and Arabic food around here in Detroit.
All of the Greek people that own restaurants here own pizzerias for some reason. The main kind of pizza that we have here that isn't some chain.
Oh, okay.
Business is Greek. It's just kind of weird because there's not that many Greek people around. Mostly Portuguese people here. Portuguese food is weird. It's either really fucking good or absolutely fucking disgusting. Like most of the people I work with, like the ones that are either like from Portugal or their parents are from Portugal, they'll eat like fish heads every fucking day for lunch. No problem. And it's like that shit's like a delicacy, like the way the Portuguese make it, and I've never had even the stomach to try it, never mind. It smells terrible, it looks terrible. Carnivores.
Portuguese cuisine is just carnivorium? Carnivorism?
Like, I don't
like fish heads.
I don't understand the fish head thing either.
Yeah, me neither.
Although the weirdest was in China, you would if you ordered fish, it would come with the bones in it. Like you would get the whole fucking fish. At best, they would cut off the tail and the head, and then give you the body with all of the bones. Hork. You think that's supposed to be a half orc?
I don't know what it's supposed to be translated to. I mean, it's like some foaming zombie.
Tell that to all of our musicians. Is at least what I would say to your sister-in-law.
Alright, I gotta fight somewhere else before I take on this boss. I need one of 2 spells, and this is a terrible place to build up. Even with the metal slimes.
I think the only people you can somewhat support the argument of having no culture is Americans.
Yeah.
Like, to that, my response is what I'm saying is tell that to all of America's musicians, but outside of that, like, any Hispanic or anywhere, Asian, European, they all have their own cultures. So I don't know what your sister-in-law is on about with that.
Stone blast.
Anthropologically speaking, Hispanics also were the craziest of the motherfuckers. They had the hardest and harshest trip from where humans originated. Exactly what is Hispanic? It's anybody south of North America,
Yeah.
which they're so very different in each of its own regions, countries. But you could say the same thing for Asian, you know what I mean? What is Asian? Because it's very different of being an Indian to Korean. Or it's Indonesia count as Asian? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Taiwanese. Vietnamese.
Everybody just instantly, like, at least I would think, you know, the people in that conversation of grouping people, when they say Asian, they think Chinese person, and not everybody. Chinese people are pretty specifically different from everybody else from my own experience. Yeah, that's more concise way of putting it. People confuse Asians for just being Chinese looking, when like Pakistani Indian people are like Asian too, and all this other good stuff. Kazakh people. Singaporean and all that good stuff. Yep, Bangladeshi.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even like just in China, there's many different cultures of people.
Yeah.
people out west. I mean, there's Chinese Muslims. Most people don't even know that. That was some of the best food I had too. Was the Chinese Muslim food. Oh my god, the noodles were insane. So good. And they were always open because they were the only places that would do business during like Chinese holidays and stuff. They're too goddamn far to travel to see their family. Not Ho. Drawing a blank. This image would load. People from like Xinjiang, the western, like the northwestern part of China, everything above Tibet, pretty much.
Yeah. And I'm actually getting ready for dinner. Stuff.
Me too, dude. Even though I had a late lunch, it was like a little tiny leftover piece of a calzone and a tiny ham sandwich.
Oh. I had a bowl of chili and some bread.
That sounds good. Mandarin Chinese, most probably.
Hmm. Yep.
Even though, like, if you go to China and speak to people, there's many different forms of Mandarin that, so like, older people wouldn't even be able to talk to each other because
Right.
there's different places.
So he's talking about language. I'm thinking like the food still. Like I want some Szechuan.
Oh yeah, Szechuan cuisine is
Ugh.
pretty good too. The only weird thing about it is when they have a lot of shellfish in their food, like
Yeah.
soup and stuff, and they'll leave the
Yeah.
like the shell of it on, and the way they cook it, it's like becomes so soft that it's not like crunchy and nasty. But it was a little weird to get used to. It was like looking at it, I was like, did I really want to like chew on that? It doesn't sound or look too appealing, and then you eat it, and it would actually be good.
All right. Yeah. I'm going to take a break, guys. Somebody else want to pick up the mantle? You're welcome to it.
Awesome.